And I am excited to have this queen with me. We do want to apologize a little technical difficulties that caused our delay, but we are here. We are here, and I'm excited about the talk that we are about to have today. So, listen, I hope you come with expectations. I hope you have questions that are on your heart and mind to talk about, because that's what we are going to get into this morning. So let me start with saying good morning, Queen. How are you this morning?
I'm very good. Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I am excited to have you as well. I'm excited to have you as well. So tell the people where you're checking in from. Because when I put them posts out, I say you have two coaches and speakers from different parts of the country that are coming together, and we have some like-mindedness going on. And so we're gonna have this talk. So tell the people where you're checking in from.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm calling in from London currently. Just got back from Zurich and I was in Nigeria, Abuja and Lagos last week. So I'm literally always on the move. But right now I'm calling in from London and it's 4:07 p.m. here right now.
London. That is on my list of places to visit. In fact, when I went to Paris, I was like, "Oh my gosh, we didn't a lot time to go over to London, because I would have definitely hopped on that Euro train, um, and be a part of the conversation. I meant the scenery, because I want to
Yeah.
visit it. Oh my gosh, how's the weather out there?
Actually, quite wonderful today. It's quite warm, sunny, and usually it's cold and rainy and gloomy, but today's been really beautiful, like beautiful weather out there today.
I love that. Love that. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in the United States, and it's quite nice today as well. I
Ah,
am a perfect person who likes to spend time in nature and stand
ah,
barefoot on the earth. And I've been doing it a little even during the cold months this year, because
ah,
um, I've heard about some shifting in the energies in the universe, and the three-eye atlas
amazing.
comet that's coming, and all these new codes that are coming to earth. So and one of the encouragements is to like literally like do a lot of releasing and grounding. So I've like, okay, it's cold outside, guys, but I'm gonna go. But yesterday I went out there and the earth wasn't even cold. So I mean, I needed a
Wonderful.
jacket on, but it was cold. It was night. I was like, oh, this is actually warm. So we kind of hit the 50s, and it's actually not bad right now. So
It's not at all.
yeah, we having some
Amazing.
good temperature weather right now.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. So, what we got today? Where are we going?
Where we going? So we let's see, how do we pick up our conversation? Because we were just chit chatty the other day, like we had
Yeah,
known each
do you
other.
have questions? Like, do your audience have any questions? Are there like areas of life they want us to like talk about and give tips on, or like what's the temperature in your room?
So I'm going to give you a temperature in my room that I want us to have a conversation about. I want us to have a
Hmm.
because I don't, I'm going to speak from the United States perspective, right?
Of course.
We've had a very tumultuous year. 2025 has really shown us some things that we were like, I, I guess what's to say, we wasn't ready for. You had those of us that knew if this what we like to call changing of the guards occurred. We knew it would be a ride, but I don't even think we knew to the magnitude that it was. So how in a time like this, um, can people stay grounded? How can people stay grounded in a time like this?
When the storm is at its worst rage is when you need yourselves more than at any other time. And for me, I mean, when I think about some of the really tough things that we see, the current political situation you are describing in the USA, the COVID period, and all that, you
Mm-hmm.
find that it's the connection to the people in your life and the new connections you make that sort of keep you grounded, that kind of remind you that tomorrow would be better. That kind of gives you that feeling, that hope that it's not all over. Better days are yet to come. So, what I generally advise my friends, my colleagues, my clients who are currently feeling like the world is coming to an end because the USA is seeing some elements they didn't even realize was in them before, I just say, guys, look for more people like you, spend more time doing things that are fun, spend more time loving yourself and others, and the time will pass so quickly you will be shocked that, oh my god, you know, like 4 years, what is 4 years? It's like a blink. It's what you do in that period, is how you spend it that make it less painful. And the best way to spend it is around people who give you joy, people who appreciate you, people who admire your work, and people who encourage you to be better than what you are today. And there are lots and lots of such people around you. You just have to open your eyes to seeing them.
And for the person, and believe me, I'm not coming from my perspective, because I totally agree with what you're saying. But for the person that's having a hard time with this, right? Because people have been taught, certain beliefs, and yes, this too shall pass. However, when they're looking at it from this, what I would call from this physical perspective, which they're spending a lot of time in the spirit, in the flesh, to keep people from tapping into the spiritual, to get that mindset that you said, in the spirit, this too shall pass. This will, 4 years, like we're already almost a year into it, it'll go by quickly. How do we help them with that? Because again, it does become perspective, right? It does become knowing who they are as the powerful God that's in them, the being that's in them. How do you get people to understand that when they're stuck looking outside of themselves? Because and society's gonna keep them looking outside of themselves.
You start looking for the good things around you outside of yourself. For example, every day you wake up in the morning, you have to drive to school, or drive to work, or drive your kids to school, or go to the gym, or whatever. Consciously set your mind to look out for all the people that are smiling. Because the more you look for that, the more people who are smiling you are going to see. And then make up your mind that for every smile you see, you're going to smile back. Whether the person is seeing you or not, you're going to smile back. So every moment you're looking out for those who have smiles on their faces, you will begin to see a lot of smiles. And the more smiles you see, the more you smile. And the more you smile, the more, whatever your situation is, you begin to feel lighter. You begin to look like you begin to feel, oh, it's not that bad. Today is going well. Lots of smile out there. People are happy. I am happy also. Now, you're seeing those smiles, not because there are no frowns or anger or violence or whatever else, but it's what you have focused your mind on for the day. And the moment you focus your mind on that, you are going to see a lot of smiles. Just try it. Just right now, even close your eyes where you are and then look for smiles. You're going to see people smiling at you. You're literally going to begin to see the best smiles, your siblings, your mom, your dad, your kids, whoever. You're going to start seeing smiles because that's what you're calling in. That's what you want. It's going to come to you. We call it the law of abundance and whatever, but it is where you focus your mind. That's where your energy is. That's what your frequency is calling in, and that's what you're going to receive more and more and more of. So, what I say to those who feel like, no, what do I do right now? Channel your mind to something that is positive and start actively looking out for it. You will begin to see it because it's all in your mind. If you want to see more violence, you're going to see more violence. If you want to see more pregnant women, you're going to see more pregnant women. If you think, oh, there are no bedded men around me, the moment you tell yourself that, you start seeing a lot of bedded people around you. So it's what you decide to see that is going to come to you. So you have to actually make up your mind every single day. Look for something positive to look out for. And for every time you see that thing you have made up your mind you want to be seeing, give back a smile, gratitude, whatever, Thanksgiving, anything. Just do something that makes you feel even better the moment that thing you're looking for appears. You can pick something as random as yellow cars. Every yellow car I see today, I'll smile. You will see so many yellow cars. You'll be shocked that there are so many yellow cars in your neighborhood because you never saw them before because you were not paying attention to them. Focus your attention on the things you actually want to see and feel, and more of them will come to you.
That's good stuff. Like I have a mirror in my face because I'm like, this is me. This is stuff that I would say. But even, you know what, you even took it next level. Like when you said like even just like look for people to smile, look for cars. That's like an intention setting mindset. And I never even thought about it. But what's interesting, like when I recently started wearing these beads, I I got them because I know the mindset of the energy protection and stuff like that. But I also made them gratitude beads. So sometimes when I rub them, I just think of things to be grateful for, something to talk about, think about. So oh my God, I love the way you just said that. And hold on, let's see. I like what the chat is just saying. It's like you're absolutely right. It's like when you get a new car and start seeing that car everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and I love this. This is my queen. That was my corporate tea. That's my faithful follower right there. And then my queen, Miss Sylvia Stanback. This has been my truth too. When I decide to smile when I go out, people begin to respond with a smile.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It works and it's so easy. The thing is, a lot of us are not conscious of these things because we take them for granted. But the moment you start to create awareness in your body, in your field, you'll begin to enjoy these things so much so that life will suddenly start looking really beautiful to you, whatever your circumstances are. And they're very tiny shifts, very tiny things. Almost like, what is she talking about? But just try it. Just try it.
No, you're talking facts. I mean, the thing is people haven't been taught to see it from that perspective. And
Hmm.
that's what make talks like these really really good. These are those
Yeah,
talks that, oh, okay, so if I look at it from this perspective, you really are going into that reality creation
yeah,
process
yeah,
because people had not been taught that they're creators. you
yeah,
know we have
yeah.
people, for far too long people have been taught that spiritual truth. We are creators. We get to create our reality. So you're saying I can create a reality, whereas I can look for people to smile at me, and I'm going, and I start, but let it start with you. Start with spreading the smile.
Yeah.
And you know what's even interesting for me personally with that? Like long time ago, God told me, He said, one of the things you're going to do is smile at people. You're
Oh
going to smile.
wow.
You just,
Wow.
because that's just a little seed being planted
Yeah.
in someone's life. Some people may have not even had anybody to issue a smile. Because if you really kind of look at the world, the state of the world, like a lot of people do a lot of stuff to avoid eye contact.
True.
Because
True.
everybody's in their bubble. And then of course, and then things have gotten so crazy today, whereas people step outside. I mean, people are concerned about, well, if I smile they may think I'm flirting, but I'm really not. I'm just really being a good, a kind person. I'm letting the light in me shine,
I
because
feel
that goes
you.
on in the world as
Totally.
well, because some people can misinterpret the intention.
I feel you. I feel you. But then you don't really want to worry about what people are thinking and what you really want to know for yourself, have clarity about your intentions, and then get out there and give love because what other people are thinking and their interpretations of what you're doing or feeling, it's not really your business. It's not your problem. Let it be their problem. You focus on what's important to you, and it's to have your peace every moment of your life and to give so much love that all that comes back to you is love too. Because the more love you give, the more love you get.
Yes. So start with let's sit with that for a second, because I cannot blow past love. I cannot blow past love. People don't even understand how the world can change if we operate in that energy right there. That's like the highest frequency next to gratitude of the universe.
Yeah, totally,
you know
totally.
and I know, for many it is kind of hard for the love factor because they're struggling with the love in their own lives. And so let's talk about that, because I think people need to realize love starts with you. And even though I really, there's things that are good in the Bible, and I always but I go to the good things in the Bible. Okay. And the scripture says charity starts at home and it's spread. That's love. So how do we get people to really, really take that scripture to heart, where it's in essence it's saying be the love, be the light, and then it radiates from you. In order to even have a loving relationship, one has to understand they got to be a loving person. Comments?
The way I see it, the way I interpret it to my own people is you start by falling in love with yourself. And you fall in love with yourself by beginning to recognize who you are, your true essence, and appreciating you for all the good that you are and all the good you bring to life. Little things, the fact that you even care about other people, how they feel, how your co-workers, for example, whether the temperature is comfortable for everybody, checking in if people are like, feeling stressed, and just encouraging them. You love yourself first, noticing the things that make you feel whole, acknowledging yourself for them, appreciating yourself because you're already doing so much, even being alive. It's so much work to be alive. Your lungs are fighting for you, your heart is racing, you're moving and all that. Recognize the little things you're doing for yourself every day, appreciate you for that. And from there, you will have the strength, the courage, the confidence to appreciate other people for the good things they are doing in their lives. So, because you have recognized your own goodness, appreciated yourself for your own goodness, understood and accepted yourself radically, it becomes easier for you to spread it, to spread joy, to do the little things to make other people's lives easier, to make people, appreciate themselves a bit more, to accept people for who they are, because you accept yourself. And you know that in all your weaknesses, in all your strange ways and everything, you are still perfect as you are. And you begin to express that for others as well. It makes life so much easier. But it starts with you. You have to first of all recognize you for the amazing human being you were created as, fall in love with yourself, and then from there gift it to other people. It can be quite easy, but the thing is, wrapping our minds around it is the difficult part. But the moment you're able to bring your mind into congruence with who you really are, it becomes so much easier to go from there to express love and gratitude and appreciation for other people.
You know, and as you're talking, what's coming to mind is the fact that people have been born into a society. I won't say system, because I do know this is a system. It's a matrix. I know that. But they've been born into one, whereas they have forgotten who they are. And that's what makes them hard to love, because they're told, they're constantly fighting. I mean, they're living a life to prove that they. Uh-oh, I lost Eunice, guys. I lost Eunice, but I'll allow her to come back. Thank you guys for joining. Those who are listening, if y'all have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the chat. This was a last minute, a special little pop up, and I don't want to finish this last statement out without Miss Eunice being back on the line. So giving her a moment to return. I hope you guys are getting some good information out of this, because at the end of the day, you guys, oh, thank you, Corp T, because this is about really tapping in and knowing your power, knowing your consciousness, knowing who you are as the powerful creator, and to love yourself, because you don't want to walk through life feeling unworthy. And I know many are trying to please the um, the God outside of themselves. And really, you're to please the God is in you, because when you please the God, and I know that was a real I get in trouble saying stuff, but it's okay. I can handle it. But we got to understand there's one creator. There's one creator. Far too long, all these separations from, from man and God has been two different things, but God is in all of us, and he loves all of us, and he wants us to love ourselves, and he wants us to know how valuable and worthy we are. And what does a good and you look like in general? I would say, and I hope, I don't know if how we lost her. I hope she's coming back. Hold on, let me check my email. Give her the good. Oh, that's a good question, Corp T. Hold on, let me try to email her and make sure she's good. Maybe she might have lost power. Um, Hold on, let me get her. Okay, all right. I just saw her. Ooh, I'm being put on the spot. I love this, but I am going to go. What does the good in you look like in general? It looks like love. It looks like appreciation for the life that you have been given. It's appreciation for the body that you're in, that temple that is yours. And now I have frozen. Okay, it's appreciation for the body that you're in, the temple that you've been given, to take care of it. That's why it's so important as to how you treat it. Are you treating it with love and kindness, or and eating healthy and exercising, staying hydrated, getting water and nutrients? Or are you just filling it up with a lot of junk and things that are not causing you to be able to hear with clarity, and to connect to that inner power, because you're dense, you're adding to the density of this world, to do the good, and how what does the good in you look like? It's a healthy body. It's a healthy representation. It's meditating. It's praying. It's going with it. The Holy Spirit don't want me to talk about this Holy Spirit. Okay, all right. Oh, what does the God look like in you? Yes, okay, there it is. All right. Yeah, it's knowing, it's like knowing, like, you know what? I like to say it this way. God is looking at life through my lens. It's seeing me. A piece of his spirit has been embedded in me. How am I showing up in the world? Am I showing up with that love and kindness that is talked about? Am I letting people see and feel the God in me? Because that's what the God looks like in us in general. It's kindness, it's spreading love. It's not operating in a spirit of fear, it's not operating in a spirit of control. It's letting us know, it's letting us show one another. It's causing us to encourage one another to live according to their highest and best good, to live in accordance to their potential. You're helping people, you're being your brothers and sisters keeper. That's what the God in you looks like general. People will know you by your works. not just your words. Because notice, you can tell a person you love them all day long, but if you just do that in words, they don't know it, they don't feel it if you behind the scenes beating them. Remember, we just had a talk the other day with pastors, like why the churches don't talk about domestic violence. We had a whole talk about that. And just think about it. You're saying you love a person, but then you're hitting them. You're harming them. You go around people, like, it could even be so as simple as you holding the door open for people. Do you know, hold it there, that goes kind of both ways. You got people that will hold the door and the person coming in will appreciate it and say thank you, or you could hold the door and the person just they just grab the door and keep going. That's not a God mindset. You suppose, if someone does something kind to you, you should say thank you. That's what gratitude is about. So to really find that space is to go within. It's to go within oneself. Spend that time in quietness and meditation. Send it out in nature. Let the trees talk to you. I was out in nature yesterday, and all of a sudden a wind came out of nowhere, and I just heard the trees. And I was like, okay, I know you guys are talking to me today. I appreciate it. You're looking for the goodness in life. You go through your days looking for goodness. As Miss Eunice was talking earlier, you're going through the days, you're looking for kind things, you're expecting goodness because you're radiating it. You're setting the intention for it to come, to be part of the reality that you're creating. And I love this. We have to more consciously think in all areas of activities. Absolutely. We've spent too much, well, I don't want to say we, but I'm just gonna say this universe, this planet, this time, this whatever we're in. They've spent so much time trying to control each individual to the point that they don't think consciously. Like Miss Sylvia is always talking critical. Hold on, I got an email. Let me see if it's her. She's always talking critical thinking. Oh, her laptop and her phone is not letting her back in. Hold on, let me just let her know. Okay. I'm just letting her know I'm still here if she can make it. But we gonna keep pressing on. It's keeping people from the critical thinking. It's keeping people focused on, like a lot of things outside of themselves that are really not mattering and adding value to their lives. So that's where the importance of tapping into yourself. Yes, actor Anthony, find yourself within yourself. Listen, the temples in Egypt and even the Matrix had the saying, know thyself. And like I said recently, and when you even look that whole phrase up in itself, it says, know thyself is to know God. I wish I could have had Miss Sylvia on, since I can't get Miss Eunice on, because Miss Sylvia and I had a conversation this morning. If she called me and she was to come to the stage, call my phone, I would bring her to the stage. Let me tell you guys why. Because one of the things people spend, I had a train of thought and I was going somewhere, and then I ventured off. But the reality is, when you know yourself and you know God, you know the power that's in you, you know who you are, and you tap into the reality that is yours to create. And you create it from a place of love, you create it from a place of gratitude, you create it from a place of expecting goodness. There are some people who go through this thing of life they expect bad things to happen to them, whether they're uh unconsciously or consciously creating. People don't understand we're all creating. Well, even if it's by default, our thoughts are creating our reality. So if you're walking through life thinking all people are mean, guess what? You're going to encounter a lot of mean people. In fact, I just finished listening to this book this week, Unlocking the Mind of God. Unlocking the Mind of God. Let me tell you guys, I already knew what it said, but the way that it just kind of broke it down and went step by step and talked about how, we came, we, first of all, they don't tell you the truth. We consciously made the choice to come here because we wanted to experience this life. It's things even in this time space right here that we wanted to be a part of. So if we become aware of that, like aware that we might have wanted to be a part of this, President 47 regime, because this is really helping us to really step outside of what they're teaching and what they're showing us, and to step inside ourselves. Like, look, okay, these external circumstances are playing out in this world right now, right? It's playing out. But what am I here to learn? How do I change it for me? Because far too long, many allow themselves to get caught up in the mass consciousness. And here's the thing about that: you're giving your power away. Your power is not intended for you to give to others. Your power, your energy inside of you is intended for you to create who you are, create the reality that you are, to spread love, to spread light, to be the light, be the change, impact change, have a positive impact on people, not to just create by default, allowing others to create. Do you know every time they're doing something that's causing a reaction out of you, you're allowing others to create and shape your reality? Think about that. And I know it's like when you are not aware of this mindset, this consciousness mindset, you don't know, and you just go with the flow. And here's the thing: there's a flow that you're supposed to be going with, but it's the flow of the spirit. It's the flow of abundance. It's a flow of abundance to the fact that it doesn't matter how much they put on the tariff. It doesn't matter how much they raise this, raise that. It don't matter. The mindset of abundance lets you know that you're going to be okay. You're going to be protected regardless. Period. That's what the mindset of abundance is. It don't matter, because in the scheme of it all, you probably haven't been taught this or heard it this way. Money is currency. It's currency. It's energy. Well, you heard it's currency, but it's energy. Okay. And so therefore, if you think and focus your energy, and I'm coming to you, Corp T, because you know you my you the person. Uh, it's energy. So if you focus on lack, you're going to continue to draw lack in your life. You're going to continue to draw lack. So you don't want to focus on lack. You want to focus on who you are, the power that's in you. Consciousness isn't promoted in this society and often blocked. See, this is where I need Miss Sylvia to help me with this one, but I got it, Miss Sylvia. Or related to demonic worshiping. You know what? That herein lies the problem. Herein lies the problem. They want to put everything on demonic. They want to put everything on, oh, that's witchcraft, that's voodoo. Whereas if people really do the real research on voodoo, voodoo was never a negative thing. It was people using the power that we all have. That's what it was. In fact, I was just on the radio on Tuesday, and we talked about it, because I was talking about a lot of energy work. Because listen, y'all, if you guys are going to live your best life, if you're going to take 2026, going to say the heck with 2025 and these shenanigans, I'm going to step into my power, I'm going to rise higher, you're going to have to do that from a consciousness mindset. You're going to really have to tap into the power and the God energy that's in each and every one of us. You're going to have to know that you have supernatural help in the spiritual realm helping you. You're going to have to tap into this in order to be able to elevate. And so the reason they don't promote consciousness, Miss Sylvia and I was talking about it. The Council of Nicaea back in 325 AD, they didn't want that. But if you look them up, they said if the people really knew the power that they have, which again, some has translated to voodoo and some have translated to witchcraft, but it's not. We all have power to do miraculous things. Okay, so do the research. Stop doing it based on what you've been taught, which has been taught from a limited belief mindset. But they said if people knew this power, they knew about it, they wouldn't need leaders. They wouldn't need certain entities if they knew. So they're gonna block it. They don't want you to rise higher. They don't want you to live in accordance to your highest and best will. So you gotta be wise enough.
Finally. Jesus, that was crazy, man. I'm using my phone now. My system just crashed. I have no idea. My internet just went off. I have no idea what's going on there.
That's okay, girl, because listen, they've been asking questions and I've been flowing. So let me oh my, okay, hold on, Miss Sylvia. I'll definitely send you the link. Because she's a conscious, I'm gonna bring somebody else to the conference. Oh my God, just talking getting better and better. Hold on, let me do this real quick. I was saying something to you, ma'am, and I forgot. Hold on, I want to invite Miss Sylvia to the stage because this is my Wisdom Wednesday. This is my higher level. I would like to say like she's one of my spiritual guides. It's no doubt about that. And so, see, this is why I like talks. They're not scripted. We just go with the flow. And Corp T, I am getting ready to answer that question. But hold on, I want to do this. Hold on, let me send this to you, Miss Sylvia. Yeah. Oh my God, I love this talk, guys. Are you guys enjoying this talk? Hold on. Let's see. I want to make sure that period keep causing a whole problem. So I want to make sure there's no period in there. Okay, hold on. All right, Miss Sylvia. All right. All right, I just sent it over to you. And I want to answer this question right here. Oh shoot, wrong. Hold on, let me say something. Okay. Okay, the question that just came into the chat.
Yes.
What are some distractions that you notice when it comes to blocking consciousness? Because I went off into a whole consciousness tangent when you left.
Okay, what are the distractions I notice that block consciousness? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I think the one that is very prominent for me is the external validations. Like we're always sort of like looking for what other people are thinking about us, like focusing so much on what people are thinking, what people are doing, how people are perceiving things, instead of focusing on the internal reality that is happening for us, instead of focusing on our connection to our own consciousness, to God, to whatever entities we believe in that help us to connect on that personal level with our consciousness. So I think it's too much attention to what other people are thinking, doing, or saying that distract us the most from that deep knowing that we all have, but sometimes get disconnected from.
I agree. And again, and again, I feel it's all by design, because if you're distracted, there go the queen. She popping in. Hey, queen. Good morning. Queen, meet Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, meet Miss Sylvia. This is my godmother, my spiritual guide.
Sylvia. How are
Hello.
you?
Sharer.
Amazing.
So, Abuela, and guys, let me tell you guys what I never told you. One of the things that I believe me and Eunice and I are divinely connected. Her name is the same as my grandmother. My
Ah,
grandmother's name was Eunice, and I've never met another Eunice. So when she and I connected, I was like, and then when we talked, I said, "Oh, I see a real spirit. Oh, girl, yes, we gonna do great things together. I feel a connection here." So, Abuela, the question, as you were transitioning to come on with us, it was asked, "What are some distractions that you notice when it comes to blocking consciousness?" What give us your thoughts.
I hope you can hear me.
We can.
yeah.
Okay. I think social media, the news, and more importantly, smartphones.
Mm.
Everybody is looking down. Nobody's looking up.
Mm.
Those are the major distractions. And for years, when I lived and worked in Africa, I found out that certain Voice of America always lies. And they said, look, if you want to know what's going on in your country, you better listen to Russian news. So from that time, which was, many years ago, I stopped listening to the news. That's a major distraction and a mind control. That's why they repeat the same topics 26 times in a row
Yeah,
to
because it makes
create
it
I
fear.
biased.
agree with you because I used to do a lot of listening to news, but these days I don't even put on my television. I can live in a house for 10 years and not put on the television even once. And what I found is that I feel more peace, I feel more in control of my thinking and um less interested in what the rest of the world is doing. It's not like the information I need, I wouldn't get it. But there's always like, you need targeted information. You go on the internet, you research, you get that information, you make calls, you get all the information you need before you go to do your presentation or go to campaign or whatever it is you want to do. But then that consistent putting it back in your face, repeating it that CN folks, all of them do. I kind of agree with you, Sylvia, that that's kind of like a mind control mechanism. And it can certainly block consciousness. Like initially when you started, I was like, okay, I was trying hard. But once you went into the news bit, I realized that absolutely you could literally stop people from noticing what is most important in their lives, which is themselves and their relationship with whatever form of God they believe in, because you're distracting them. You're distracting them with all this repeated news. Oh, Africa is so poor. Oh, there's accident here. Almost always negative things. Almost always something bad about somebody else, or something bad about America or Europe or Nigeria or wherever, hardly ever really focusing your mind on the good things. So they literally program us to be on the flight or fight mode, which naturally blocks us from connecting deeply with ourselves and our God. So, yeah, thank you for that. I initially didn't see it at first, but thinking about it as you spoke, totally, totally. I agree with you 100%.
I
And
want to say I want to say another thing about distraction and the news.
uh-huh.
One time when I was teaching a group of children, I put a picture of downtown Nairobi, Kenya, Johannesburg, and other major cities in Africa. And I asked them, where is this? And they named all these cities in the US. And I said, no, this is Africa.
Mm.
And one child said, where did those buildings come from? That shows you how the media had programmed their minds and still do program our minds to think that everything is huts, big bellies, hunger. That's because they never want us there.
I totally agree with you, Sylvia, completely. Like there is that unnecessary bias that you find with the media. It's whatever narrative they feel like selling or whatever fills up their pockets that is going to take the center stage. And a lot of times it's just total complete lies. Like, I know from traveling a lot that the impression of Africa is so far from what it really is in reality. But that's what the news, that's what the media, that's the narratives they sold. Oh, they are so poor. Oh, they are hunger infested. Oh, they are so mean. Oh, they are all armed robbers. Oh, they are all fraudsters and all. It's just so much lies. But that's what people believe because that's what they see every day. That's what they hear every day. And it starts from childhood. So by the time they are adults, reality is that's what the reality they know. So it takes a lot of re education to begin to see that it's actually not like that. The reality is so different from everything you have heard for the whole 70 years or so you've lived on earth. So I get you, I hear you, and I totally acknowledge that. It's so true that a lot of these things we see on our smartphones, on our televisions, from the news, are just programming that distract us from the reality, from the truth, and from true consciousness. I see you. I hear you. Thank you.
And,
Wow.
and they tell other countries, they show videos of us as drug dealers, uh, gang banging, illiterate, so that they could propagate that image of us in other countries. So
Okay,
that's why we. Mhm.
go ahead, finish that because you just made something just popped in my head when you said it. Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Yeah, that all of that is a distraction, mind control, deliberate. I had a young lady come and speak to the Upward Bound program over at the University of North Carolina, A&T. She was from East India, and she said when she came into immigration, they told her in immigration, don't associate with Black people.
That's so crazy, though. That's so crazy.
But it's a reality. That's a reality that has been created. I do want to, before we continue, to that distraction comment. What are some distractions blocking consciousness? TV, radio, heavy metals, which a lot of people consume in their bodies, and lack of nutrients in the foods, drugs, and the rat race of chasing money. Check, 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 and check. Yes, those are distractions, and people don't even understand the importance of healthy eating. Healthy eating is pivotal too for consciousness as well, because if you're not eating healthy, again, as I said earlier, if you're not resting well, you're not hydrating well, you're not grounding yourself, then you're full of density. So you have to release those energies and things that, to give yourself clear space for the spirit to really kind of flow. You got to keep your chakras open. And I know in religion we weren't taught, and at least in my religion we wasn't taught about chakras, because I remember a little while back I said something about chakras, and I had somebody say, oh no, you can't talk about that in Christianity because they believe that that's Hinduism and stuff, or yoga, Hindu and stuff like that. Listen, all religions ultimately are really trying to get to the same point. They just going different avenues of saying it. And that's why you just got to separate. You got to be wise enough and conscious enough to say, okay, what is working for me? And really, when you're talking about anything that's trying to control you and things that of that nature, that shouldn't even be something that you continue to entertain. Any comments on that? Because I also want to go back to that African thing, because Miss Sylvia, even to the, let me go give you an look, I'm flowing. Give you an opportunity. Anybody want to comment on what I just said? Because I'm flowing. I'm flowing. Okay, so no comments. Okay. Miss Sylvia, when you were talking about like the person was like told don't associate with Black people. That's interesting because I used to hear a lot of Africans like they look down on Black people. And based on what I'm hearing you say, that seems to be one of the reasons. A whole narrative was painted about our culture, our community. And so this brings up a good point, question. What can we do to change the narrative? What can we do to change the narrative? Because in the midst of it all, just as Eunice was saying earlier, if you're looking for people to smile, you're going to see that people smiling. You're going to see more people smiling because you're setting the intention. So how do we get to the place where we like, look, let us set the intention to change the narrative, so that we're, regardless of what the media is trying to present to other countries about us, we can present ourselves as the gods and goddesses that we are. Comments?
I think it's really mostly about just being the good people we are and showing more good example, and actually making sure that the world is seeing and hearing about the goodness we come with, because the emphasis has been too much on the things that are bad about our people, or some of the bad behaviors that we have seen, which is in every culture, which is in every race, everywhere. There's no race or no culture or no place or no family where there is not one bad behavior or the other. But the emphasis has been on all the things that were picked up that were bad about some of the things that some of our people have done. So we have to now start putting laser focus on the good things about us and our people, our culture, our ways, the love we share. I mean, when I look at, even in my own small community, my son is dating a white girl, and then when she came in, it was like, no, this, it's just me, you, our child. I'm like, hell no, that's not our culture. We live in communities and we like to look after each other. We pay attention to what's happening to one another and we support. We don't do this, oh, it's just me, you, and my child behavior. And if you want to do that, then you are the one who needs to get out, because we want to look after you and we expect you to take responsibility for yourself, your child, and some of the people that are also in your community. And luckily for us, my son is the breadwinner. He's the one that is looking after the baby, changing the diapers, taking the kids to school for immunization, for school and hospital for immunization and all that. So he is an absolutely amazing partner. You just sit there, eat, and feel good and be loved and all that. So you cannot come in here and direct this boat. You come in here, you sit your bum down, learn the situation, adapt to it, or you get out. It's not compulsory. And at first it was such a big deal because, of course, my son is in love. But then eventually he started to understand that his culture is absolutely beautiful as is. And it is more beneficial because it helps more people, his siblings, himself, his friends. Everybody comes into the family. They are comfortable. They are happy. They are benefiting. And then one person comes in and wants you to completely disrupt the system because she comes from a different culture. No, it doesn't work like that. What favors you more, the one you know or the one you are learning now? And then he began to think about it. And then he realized that I'm actually perfect as I am. I don't need to change to become white or behave white in order for you to accept and love me. It's either you can accept and love me as I am, or you find somebody else who can be white for you and allow me to be black and community and loving people the way I am used to. Now she's getting used to oh, okay, now I can't change this situation, but I could actually live happily in it. And she's actually doing so well in the community. She needs somebody to look after her babies while she goes off to do whatever, maybe go on holiday. It doesn't matter. She leaves the babies with my younger kids or with myself, and she goes off and does her thing. Would she have been able to do that with her siblings or her parents? Probably not, because everybody minds their business in that community. In ours, we believe that our culture of looking out for one another is better. It's more sustainable and it's more beneficial for everybody concerned. And it teaches everybody to show love, to show appreciation, to show support, to be more humane. Human beings were not built to be on their own. We're built to be in communities and to support one another. And that's what I teach my children. And that's what I would love for her to learn. Fortunately, at least for now, she's learning it and producing more kids. So, so I like to shine light on the things that are beautiful about us. And a lot of us need to learn to like we have this, a lot of us have inferiority complex. Like anytime the other races tell us how we should be, we believe they are superior, and then we start to try too hard to dress like them, talk like them, act like them, appear like them, walk like them. You don't have to. You can be yourself and still be as amazing, or maybe even sometimes better. Why don't they copy you? Why must you copy them? So I really believe we have to begin to appreciate us for the amazing creatures we are and begin to be proud about what we are, who we are, and how we are, and then sell that because it is authenticity, the authentic African, Black American, whatever it is. We need to see more of that. We need to shine more light on that and be happy to be who we really are. I think it's going to change the narratives tremendously because I see it in the small, small pockets of things I do around here and it's working. So many more of us need to begin to identify who we are and be proud to be that in every circumstance we find ourselves.
Nice. Miss Sylvia?
I was going to say colonialization and slavery was all a factor in making the European look like I know all, I'm all powerful, I am the greatest. Another thing we have to realize too is African Americans, their culture is Western European culture. The African culture is the African culture, two different cultures. When African American and an African decide to come together, this was my experience. I knew the culture. It wasn't the Western culture. And I knew that I didn't fit into the culture. I would have to learn that culture. That takes a long time in
Okay.
order to fit in. And I'm talking about marrying an African American, marrying, say, an African, thinking that the culture is the same. It is not. It is not. You must know the culture, what those people do. That's culture. You must know what those people do in all areas, 9 areas of life. And the other partner must know what you do in all the 9 areas of life. And if you haven't mastered and understood that culture, it's not going to work.
Agree. Two different mindsets. Two different, and that's
Yeah, I kind of see how it's so interesting how um, those of us who went off during the colonial years and became African Americans are so different from those of us who stayed back and stayed Africans because the European Western culture totally eroded a lot of the Africanness in the African Americans. So it can be quite a clash when somebody like me is talking about culture, is talking about family and community, growing together, living together, and all that. And the African American is wondering what's she talking about. Like, that's so unusual because the African American perspective is already different from the way those of us who stayed back in Africa during the colonial periods see things, feel things, understand things. And I think it makes sense to look at all the ways, this side, that side, and then find the middle ground so that everybody is on the same page, at least to a very great extent. I still believe that the core of us is the same. It's just the nuances that may have gone different ways because of the different cultures that we had to grow up over the centuries in. I still really believe that the core of us is the same. I mean, you are totally African American. I'm totally African. But when we come to talk, there's just so many similarities, like almost 100% you could replace me for you, Tammy, in many ways. I believe that's the same for a lot of us. So if we like look deeper, we're going to see all the common grounds that we can sell in order to make us look who we are instead of this thing that they've painted us to be.
I like what you just said, painted us to be. Because I do believe at the core, I mean, at the core, we are part of source energy. We are all part of God
Yeah,
at the core of who
yeah,
all of us are.
yeah.
And that's where one of the distractions, going back to like the opening parts of this conversation, that's been part of the distraction. Like, people have been blue pilled. Like, take the blue pill, go to sleep, don't know who you are, don't even look at the red pill, because if you look at the red pill, you're gonna be tempted to really wake up to your divinity. And that's one of the things that I'm very passionate about. My intention, my desire is for people to really know who they are and operate in that.
Yeah, totally.
Good talk here. Good talk here. Miss Sylvia, trying to think of some of the stuff that we were talking about this morning that I think may be good to even share with Eunice on the line and with those that are listening in, because you and I had a really good conversation this morning as well. Anything that you can think of that would be good for us to even share with, get Eunice feedback and share for the hearing of the people?
Oh man,
We talked about a lot like this morning. Because
one thing we talked about was the fact that the majority of us do not know the history of the church. And you touched on it with the Council of Nicaea. If we knew what, I'll just say personally, when I read and researched the history of the church, I was furious. When I researched who King James was and what he was all about, I was furious. So we did talk about that. We have been brainwashed by the public fool systems, including colleges and universities. A bunch of lies, we have been told. But if you're going to be in any institution, you should know the history of that institution.
You know what? That's actually a very, very true statement, because a lot of people don't really even know the truth behind it. All we know is our parents want us to get that higher education, the higher learning that they did not get. And it's going to set us up to have these professional careers. Like, I actually didn't share with everyone that Eunice is actually an attorney out there. So along with being a speaker and a coach, but she's also an attorney. So they, to be a doctor, to be a lawyer, and to be this high money earner, but it's still part of a system. It's still kind of to keep people enslaved into a system of control.
I want to say this, present company excluded. Another distraction is titles. As soon as a person sees PhD after a name, they feel that person is very intelligent. They know everything. That's a distraction. Degrees, I say, are for the weatherman, because they have no real meaning in terms of the mental capacity of the persons that you're dealing with, because they have been through the brainwashed institutions. Recently, we have found that history is even backwards, like saying that everyone came from Africa, when at one time it was one land mass, no water. Okay. The indigenous, they say the Native American, that's us. We are indigenous to this country. Okay. History has lied to us. We've always been here. I've always been in my ancestors. My great-grandparents never said anything about Africa. That's strange, because they were always here. But history makes you think you come from another place. They never teach you that this was one land mass that people transversed at all times.
Wow. I'm like, wow. Because that totally takes away the entire slave trade thingy and colonialism and all. I'm like, okay, what's going on here now? No clue. No clue whatsoever. But
And the purpose of division, racism, is money. There's money in separation.
Yeah. I get that part. I get that part. Like power, money, control, I get that part. There's always need to infuse that fear of one another, fear of the unknown, and then use it to ride on people so you can control them politically, financially, and all that. So I totally get that part. Totally.
And even to your point, when you talking about like the titles and stuff, like I recently met a guy. He was a dentist. I already think he was a piece of work, but that's another story. But that ego kicks in real powerfully, and so he was being a little I'm gonna just use the term narcissistic, little arrogant. Okay, all right. So he got around to ask me. He's like, "So what college did you go to?" I said, "I didn't." You already know he looked at me sideways, right? You already know. But the thing is, and I tell people proudly, no, I didn't go to college. I went to Life University. And I feel that it has done a very good job at teaching me who I am. It took me a while to really, really start mastering the lessons. Heck, it's really almost took me to 2025, 55 years on this earth to really get to the point where I'm even bold enough to say some of the stuff that I say. Now, I have been knowing and learning these things they've been germinating with me the last couple of years, but now I'm just bold in my truth. Because what I realize with my truth is I'm going to share my truth, not going to try to convince you of my truth. It's my truth. And this is what I think, this is what I believe. And if it's wrong, that's something for me and my creator, my God, to deal with later. But reality is, this is what I'm going to speak. And what I've learned with people, if it's not what they're used to, no matter how old or young they are, they don't want to receive it.
Yeah, resistance. Absolutely. Everybody wants to have the familiar, what they're used to, what they want to hear. And if you're not coming there, they don't want to listen, they don't want to hear, they don't want to consider. It's just that resistance to anything that is not familiar. I get you.
You laughing is
And
good way.
that's the purpose of public institutions. That's the purpose, to control the minds of the people, their perceptions, their thinking. Now, I can speak from experience. I didn't go and I went to the universities to get a degree because it would give me a higher salary. I didn't go in there to learn anything when I enrolled. I didn't go to learn anything. I wanted to get, I didn't want to,
Money.
yeah, I want to get a higher salary.
Amazing.
And that's it. That's it. But even to what you were just saying, Eunice, like that, where is the growth and the expansion if you don't allow this information in? It's just like if someone is telling you something, because even everything that's being told at a person at a certain time, and that's kind of some of what we touched on this morning too, Abuela. Like it may not resonate with you now, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
it could be possible that it's being shared with you now for a time when it's ready to take root, when you're ready. Because everybody is not ready for what we're talking about right here and what we know. I know thousands of people that are in my influence, they're not ready. And it's okay. You love people where they are. And see, that's also another problem too, with as people grow in consciousness, that we got to be mindful of. And this is the word Miss Sylvia talked about this morning. The ego is not to take control, whereas you trying to, and I'm adding, you literally trying to make a person believe and see as you see, because there's no growth, there's no expansion. And honestly, the book that I mentioned earlier, and look, I'm telling you guys, go and find it, is Unlock the Mind of God. Like literally, you have to get to a place now, and this is where I'm at. So this book was confirmation for me. I'm going to share stuff, and if a person don't receive it, that's okay. It just may not be their time, and it comes back. That's why the scriptures say, one plants, one water. Who gets the increase? God gets the increase. So we got to understand. So don't get to even a controlling point when we're having talks like this to be so judgmental of people, like, oh, look at them and their belief systems. Because I've had people, like, when I say God is in all, they're coming at me like, no, that's not true. God is a spirit and he's not going to impress himself on people who reject him. Again, God is in all. I know that's not what people want to hear, but guess what? I'm not going to even try to go back and forth to try to convince anybody of that. It is what it is. But and whenever look, Miss Sylvia, what you told me, you sent me a video a long time ago about Brother Panic. Brother Panic say some people are here to eat grilled cheese sandwiches. So you got to realize some people are here to eat grilled cheese sandwiches. So maybe, just maybe, they not meant to get it right now. And I know y'all ain't ready for this, but you're going to get it. Just discard it. They may not even get it in this life. They might not get it in this lifetime, but that's okay. You'll potentially be back till you get it. Because that's all it is. It's karma being cleaned up and going back and forth. And I said this to somebody the other day. I'm going super deep. I'm gonna come back out. I'm gonna come back and come off my high horse in a second. And I don't mean my horse but even like I've even learned, like, some of us were part of Atlantis. Like it's so much, even with like the reality, like aliens exist, and they still keep trying to hide that they exist. That reality is getting ready to come out and make itself really, really known in the masses. Okay, wait, anything, because
Once again, we've been programmed by the institutions, and when you're talking about aliens, extraterrestrials, they've always been with us.
Yes. A lot of the technology is from them.
I believe the technology, yes, you're absolutely right. Because recently, Billy Carson, who studied the Anunnaki and all these ancient cultures and things like that, recently they found under the pyramids these stone computers that regenerate the cells. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, they have been using these things. Computers were invented thousands of years ago. This is nothing new. We've been bamboozled. That's what Malcolm said. We've been bamboozled. We've been brainwashed. We've been distracted. And the greatest distraction, the way they distract us, is through public fool institutions to fool us. To fool us. It's mandatory. At one time, it wasn't mandatory to go to school. But the Rockefellers and the ones that so-called run things made it mandatory to go to school because they said, oh, we won't be able to control their minds if they don't go to school. So they made it mandatory. I think it limits your innate abilities, your spiritual abilities. We used all of these abilities, the power within, to create these stone computers and all of that. Look at the young man that recently from Africa invented a car that runs on air.
Whoa.
One invented one that ran on water. All of a sudden, he was unalived.
Really?
So I'm saying within us is the power. We don't need any distractions from the public fool system. Now, I'm not talking about skills. You need to know the skill of architecture. You need to know the skill of how to be an electrician and that sort of thing. I'm talking about other parts of the curriculum, the major parts that are the distraction. Skills, you need to learn a skill. But don't teach me how to think, psychology. Don't. The power is within you. All that power is within us. We have a personality, that's Sylvia. and we were talking about this. Then we have a higher self that only listens and responds to the greater one that is within us. Everything on the outside came from that which was within us that didn't come out of a public institution, doesn't come out of a public institution. This is spirituality versus religion.
And guys, give you guys a heads up. We're going to have a whole talk on the topic about the church. And I think we agreed in February, but we really got to know the difference. We really got to know the difference, because that knowing that difference really opens everybody up to their power and their true. Again, I keep going back to, I want people to wait to their divinity, wait to your power, because that shifts everything. That changes everything. When you really know the God in you, then you're doing the work. You're what we talked about earlier. You're being loving. You're being kind. You're spreading smiles. You're tending to your well-being, and you're helping others. Because it's just like, as I just said, that I thought about that little kid church song that we used to hear, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." It took me 50 plus years to know what the song really meant.
That's the purpose of religion. So you won't know what that means. But later on, through spirituality, you found out that we are the light, we are the stars. So as above, so below. We are the light.
You just gave me chills on that. You just gave me chills. Woo! Yes. Exactly. That's what it is. The light is in us. And the light can be dimmed through life. The light can be dimmed through distractions. So that's why you have to be intentionally focused so that the light continues to shine. And that way you can get on that frequency of abundance by giving thanks to small things that make you that brings about more and more of bigger things. That's where the abundance mindset is. And you know what was even recently shared with me, Miss Sylvia, and I want your thoughts on it. Like, something came through to me so small yet profound. Like, even with money. Can I tell you now? I probably look like the biggest fool on this planet, and I'm okay. If I see a quarter, I'm picking it up. I'm sorry, a penny, I'm picking it up, because I have been told that if you ignore money, it will ignore you. So, if you ignore money, all right, guys, I'm telling you, catch these. Ignore money, it will ignore you. So even if you see a penny, a quarter, a nickel, dime, whatever, pick it up. Pick it up. Because you just may not even know the spiritual test behind it.
Everything is sentient. Everything is sentient. Everything is alive. That's why. That's the science behind it. That penny is alive. Everything is sentient. Everything. On just speaking about the penny too, the U.S. Mint is going to eliminate pennies. You heard about that?
I did.
And yesterday I listened to a video. The guy was saying that don't throw those pennies away, because some of those pennies are worth millions.
Oh.
And he gave a website. I can't remember the website. I wrote it down, where you can go in and see what pennies could be worth millions of dollars. My husband, he would never, I don't know why, he would never walk over a coin. I said, don't pick up that dirty thing. He would pick any coin up and he would put it in a container. And I have all of those big 3-pound those water bottle containers, plastic containers, full of the coins that he picked up. What he did, at the end of the year, he would count all those coins, and it would be like $300 or $400. He said, that's our vacation money.
Oh, wow.
Now that was his intent.
Right. No,
But
great intention.
what I'm talking about, what we're talking about here on a spiritual tip, everything is alive. That penny is alive.
It is. It is. And it
That penny is aware that you're picking me up. So I'm going to give you more of this. That's what you were saying.
And see, that's another thing when you talk spirituality in the mindset of consciousness, because people really are not aware. Like everything, like these pictures on the wall behind me, they're alive, they're energy. Everything is energy and consciousness. God is all that is. Understand that. God is. So if you want to assign him outside of yourself, okay, well, that's because he all that is. The reality is, when you understand that, the chair you're sitting on, that's the creation of God. Everything is God. That's where the true connection, the true power comes into play.
Everything is energy. God is a frequency. God is energy. And one of the things that I used to tell students, if you don't believe this chair is alive, I would hold up a pendulum. And I hold the pendulum still. I don't have one on now. Mm-hmm. And I'd put it over a person's head. That pendulum would start spinning. That energy from the frequency in that person would cause the pendulum to spin. I put that same pendulum over a chair. It would begin to spin. Everything is sentient. Everything has energy.
It is. And you know what? Again, when I had a situation that made me realize that more and more. Some years ago, I have a friend that's a clairvoyant, so she reads energy, and she and I was having a conversation, and I was telling her about some things, about, we were talking about my place and stuff, and this girl said to me, she said, "Yeah, Tammy, because your stuff in that other room, it's like crying out because it's too crammed up. You got too much stuff in that room." I was like, whoa. I'm like, so this girl read the consciousness of clothes and shoes in a closet? And you're right, but it is alive. And so when you even come into that awareness, you start treating things better. Now you understand why, and don't get me wrong, there's some people that do have mental illness, but there's some people that have to have stuff clean and organized, because that space is everything. That's why they're constantly saying declutter. Your outside is a reflection of your inside. So if your inside is cluttered with a lot of these distractions that, like Court T put in the chat last, the radio, the media, and Miss Sylvia talked about social media. If you are so, your inside, your outside life don't reflect that. It's a reflection of you. It is a mirror, and that's what the unlocking in the mind of God. I would try to grab it and see if I could put it in this chat. So if anybody coming back to this chat, they can go click on the link and get it. But it's saying that literally the universe puts a mirror of you in front of you, and you live in life based on how you see it, how your inside is operating, what you thinking, what you feeling. That's the reality. But that's not the reality we were taught. Miss Sylvia?
Yeah, I was saying we do create whatever situation we're in. We create, we create our own reality. And you can't put that on anybody else. Your circumstances, whether you know it or not, we created that through the frequency, the focus that we had in our mind. Because everything in the universe is electromagnetic, a magnet. So when I speak words, it goes out into the universe, and those words manifest. It's not magic, it's science. It's science. Spirituality is science. Science is spirituality. I learned that from Dr. Kaba. And he did a book on spirituality. Spirituality is science. Science is spirituality. Kaba Kamani. Kamene. Get his book. Kaba, Kaba, Kamene, on spirituality. Spirituality is science. Science is spirituality. And if I was in another room, I could pull the book up for you.
That's okay. I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad you're here because this is some good stuff.
And another thing I put into the universe when I was talking to you, I wish I could begin to speak without a script. This is happening. This is no coincidence. Mm-hmm. I don't have a script.
Look how I find it can respond really quickly once you put resistance down. It does. And even to the point that you're saying, and it's so interesting. See, and this is also another not a coincidence, because I had some things happen to me this week, and you just kind of touched on it in a roundabout way. I had some things happen, and I found myself saying, "Now I know I create my reality, but I want to recreate this. Like, why? Like, you know." So I had my little moment, because we human, we gonna have that little moment. And then when I was listening to Unlocking the Mind of God, talked about the same thing. I know you don't think that you created whatever you created. And I was like, okay, you know what? And I'm always saying to the angels and my guys and stuff, y'all play too much sometimes, because they give me confirmation on what it is that I'm thinking about. That happens a lot. So we do. In fact, I was listening to this book, I Am That I Am, by Aaron Worley. And like, the consciousness of God told her husband, when he was questioning her, once she realized that she was able to channel, and he was able to ask her questions, he got, the consciousness was like, yeah, like, Aaron created the security guard coming to knock on your door last night because she put a fear and an energy into that. So that person showed up because she had put energy into it. Because she was afraid that, whatever was going on, I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was going on, she was afraid that was going to happen. And it did. So one thing I have learned, and of course still perfecting it, but we're always becoming. So it's not even about perfection. It's always about constantly becoming. You're creating, whether you're consciously aware or you're doing it by default.
And that's the thing we should be taught. Yes. Most people don't realize when they speak things, when they think things, they're manifesting these things because the great power of manifestation that is within them. If we knew that our words were creative power, if we knew our focus created things into being, we wouldn't focus on fear. Oh, I don't have enough money in the bank, I might not be able to pay we wouldn't focus on things like that. We would focus on the fact that the greater power is within you to create money in your bank account, create payment for your mortgage, pay that rent, anything you need. We wouldn't focus when the doctor uses subliminal suggestions saying you have cancer. We wouldn't go home and focus on that. We would focus on the greater power is within me. I don't have any disease. I'm perfect. I'm all perfect. And I walk in that. You create that reality for yourself. I got friends that have done it. I'm not speaking from a book. I wish I could get her on here too. She spoke her way out of stage 4 cancer because it wasn't real. She made it unreal.
Wow. I can add to that. I could not so guys, I put in the chat for whoever comes back and listens to this, or who's ever watching, I put that Unlock the Mind of God link in there. Even to that point, I've learned that cancer and other ailments in our bodies is energy. It's energy to the point it's
Stuck.
stuck.
Energy that's stuck. And it can be unstuck through this acupuncture, if you believe it, because everything comes from here, it blocked energy.
It's blocked energy. So
And it can be unblocked.
again, stuff that's not taught. It's not taught. You do
Because you would have too much control. The medical field would collapse.
Catch that. Catch that. That she's right. She is so right. Like I like to go back to The Secret. Like there was a lady on The Secret. She said I was diagnosed with cancer, and I went through about 3 or 4 months not stressing myself, laughing and going through the day. I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed, and focus on positive things and good things. They couldn't afford her to get stressed out. And she said eventually she went back 3 or 4 months later and it was gone. It was gone. And that was without chemo. That was without chemo. And then also I've heard someone say, and again, this is deep, but it's reality. Spiritual work was done on their energy, whereas it was some trauma embedded in their body that was stuck in their body. And when they dealt with the trauma, had the spiritual energy work and released that, the cancer went away. And so this is what we got to understand, like, because I know even from the perspective of we've been taught things that, like think about one of the mind controls that they gave us. They gave us I don't want to say don't complain, because you definitely don't want to complain. But like, think about our ancestors being beaten, or women watching their children being snatched away and stuff like that. That's hurt. They wasn't given permission to feel that. So we have a whole passing down, and even in our DNA, of trauma that we're sitting with. And then when the attraction of life brings about more trauma, because we have this in us that hasn't been dealt with, then people are holding on to things that they need to release. And that's where that energy work needs to come into place. So people are sitting with this trauma, and it has nowhere to go. It's wanting you to acknowledge it. It wants you to feel it so you can release it. And people don't want to feel it because it's too painful to visit the memory. Anything?
I was going to say, I'm much older than you. When I was a child, I never heard cancer. And it wasn't the media. We didn't have all that TV too much. And so all of a sudden, all you hear is cancer. So everybody takes that in. It's mind control.
Autosuggestion is what Napoleon Hill calls it.
Yeah.
Oh, just think about it. It's a whole lot of medication to treat. Look, you trying to remove a headache, but then these side effects are leg cramps and blood clots and this and that, and a lot of that stuff is autosuggestion. That's why they run these commercials. That's what look the media and stuff like that. Look up the term autosuggestion. They're suggesting things into your subconscious because it's programming you to look at things from this perspective and then think. And then I know disagreement gonna come, and it's okay again with generational things. Oh, well, your mother had breast cancer, your grandmother had breast cancer, so guess what? You gonna have breast cancer. No, it's not so. But if they can convince you of that, guess what you're going to have?
Yeah. It's true. I had my first cousin was an anesthesiologist. And he said to me, when I would question him about what doctors were saying about my mother when she was ill, he said, I'm embarrassed to say this. And he was a top anesthesiologist. If I gave you his name and you Googled it, his name was Dr. Willard Holt. And you will see that he was a top anesthesiologist. He said, I'm embarrassed to say this to you. Doctors don't know anything. And and also, did you know they take courses in suggestion now? Or then, I don't know if they did when courses in suggestion, making a suggestion, that's science, you take that suggestion in, you imbibe that suggestion, and you create it.
Yeah, you that's a frequency.
So, okay, you come to the doctor for your yearly evaluation. Back in the day, we didn't go to a doctor unless you were bleeding, something serious had happened. Okay. All of a sudden that changed to you need a 6-week evaluation, 6 months evaluation. When you go in, you're going to get a suggestion. A suggestion like your kidney numbers are not 10, they're 15 or 20. Oh, your kidneys are weak. That's suggestion. And if it didn't use suggestion like that, again, that industry would collapse. I'm not saying that what I'm saying, this is my truth. Mm-hmm. This doesn't have to be your truth. Mm-hmm. This is what I have found to exist, and from talking with doctors and research, this is what I've found. This might not be true for you, because if a person believes in certain doctors and stuff, depending on what they say, it works because they took that in and they believe it. So it's kind of like a two-way street.
It is. It's at the end of the day, it's all about what do you believe. What do you believe? If you walk away believing that if they diagnose me with this, or they say it's a possibility that I have this, then you're increasing the chances of it, because again, you're putting energy in it, you putting belief. Like if you look, I'd rather you put belief in living in abundance. Like I don't care. I'd rather live, put things that are going to add value to your life.
Like the placebo. If that doctor tells you, you take this pill and in 6 months it'll be gone. It could be a sugar pill.
Yeah.
If you believe it, that's what I mean. It works.
Yeah. Because it's the power that you give it.
Yes.
Yeah. You give it the power. And so that's again, that's why I'm always saying, where are you giving your power to? Where are you giving your energy to? And so if people are giving their power into the belief system that this is going to happen or something bad is going to happen, that's why it's really important. You can't watch everything anymore. You can't, because it's putting an imprint in your mind.
And you can't go to sleep at night with the news on and the TV on, because the subconscious mind is listening.
It never goes to sleep.
It's listening and working on that focus.
Absolutely. And then it's also working to the point, what I was saying the other day when I was on the radio, the reticular activating system that's in the back of our brain, it's just like a way to continue to create things. So it's like, oh, this what you're listening to? Like, you know how you have the fight or freeze or flight back there. You also have a reticular activating system that like, okay, oh, well, this is what you think about. What can I do to bring this about? What can I bring this? What can I do? So if you focusing on illness, if you focusing on sickness and lack and this and the other, that's what you're bringing about, because that's where your focus is. It's like, okay, what can I do? And then you got the prefrontal cortex that's really playing out the scenes of your life. So it's really time to wake up. And it's interesting when you even mention science, and we talked about religion, because I heard, I don't want to say multiple pastors, but I have heard a pastor say, I don't care what science say, this is what I know. Okay, see, that becomes the problem. This becomes, because y'all trying to dispel science, because again, these scientists are trying to do these studies into truth, and you want to do it from the perspective of what look. I'm gonna throw everything back to the Council of Nicaea. Everything the Council of Nicaea wanted y'all to continue to pass on throughout the generations. So what do what do you do with that? What do you do with that? You got to wake up. You got to wake up. And when people hear the term "wake up," they think, "Oh, it's another trend." Because I hear Miss Sylvia, I don't know if you've heard, but Abuela, there's a woke culture trend going on right now. And I'm like, why everything got to be about a trend? Because if you make it about a trend, as fast as that trend comes, it's gonna go. It's gonna go. So being woke is not about a trend or a culture. It's who you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be woke because you're living in your power. You're living in your divinity. You're living in your truth. A lot of people can't even be truthful because their truthful conflicts with those around them. And that's another form of control, or what I like to call the Jedi mind trick. That's another mind trick that has been played. So that has to be, dealt with. Be truthful to you. Be authentic. The world don't need a bunch of minions. They need you. They need your true authentic self. Anything come to mind, Abuela?
I was thinking about when you say this woke community. See, a lot of people feel that woke means knowing your history and knowing that sort of thing. When to me, to be awakened is to be spiritually enlightened to the fact that all power is within you.
Thank you. That's it. But again, if they can give it another meaning that sound good to the ear, like, oh, I want to be a part of that, then that's what happens. But you're actually absolutely correct. It's about a spiritual enlightenment for knowing who you are. You are a spiritual being condensed into this fleshly body. Go ahead.
I just want to say too, you say to people, listen to that inner voice. And distractions keep you going so you don't listen. You can't listen to that inner voice. Well, then they'll say, how do I know that's the power of, we use the name God, speaking? Well, try it. Do what it says. And that's action, putting it into action. If you want to know that voice that just told you, go left instead of right, that's the correct direction. Go left instead of right and see if that, then you'll begin to, that's action. Put it into action. Then you'll begin to see that voice is speaking. You'll begin to recognize that voice.
Absolutely. Because it's always speaking. In fact, it's always speaking to the point that, like, even with whether you listening or not, I heard, and I'm just go ahead and say what I like. I heard a lady who was speaking on my other favorite YouTube channel. They were saying, like, they're always trying to get through to us, but we block them out. And when I say they, I'm talking about your guides, your angels, your ancestors, those who have gone on. Because also too, another design factor in play, unalive is final. That's the word. The unalive, when a person unalive is final. No, they really are not. It's not final. They're still here. They still become guides. In fact, if you even open enough to really do the research and even maybe get brave enough one day to say, you know what? I want to do some research myself and allow myself to go into the subconscious mind to find out. That's what, like those hot ayahuascas and things, those mushrooms, stuff like that. People do that because they pull the veil down. But the thing is, when the veil comes down, you got to be ready. So I don't advise anybody to do that. But there's a level of enlightenment and awakening that takes place, because you really know they are with you. As a person whose consciousness left their body, I heard them. And I was like, oh my gosh. Now, I couldn't understand what was being said because I wasn't on the frequency of the language that they were speaking. But I heard too many voices around me. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is amazing. And so when people really understand, like I've had people with the gift, like, oh, I see a woman around you. I'm trying to figure out. I was like, oh my God, I wonder who it is. But people are not, you can't go, of course, a person can't go and tell everybody that because they're not open to that. But me, I was open to it. Like, hey, okay, I wonder who it was. In fact, I recall when that was told to me a long time ago, I was like having a conversation with my son, trying to figure out, I wonder who it is. I wonder if it's Grandma Eunice, that her name, or if it's Grandma Dot. I was just really wondering. But I said all that to say, our ancestors are with us. They're talking. They're here to help us. They're here to guide us. And those voices that Miss Sylvia is talking about, we got to listen. They speaking, but we allowing life and distractions to peel us away from this. And it's time to come back into who you are. So Miss Sylvia, I thank you for jumping on here. Give us some words, give us some takeaways from today. And I'm already ready for next Wisdom Wednesday because she gave me the topic today, guys. So y'all got to be ready. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I just want us to understand that we are in the world, but we're not of the world. We are spiritual beings. We don't operate like the world operates. This is a classroom. This is my concept, that this whole situation that we're in is a classroom where you've come to learn. And you want to learn all you can learn in this lifetime. The concept of reincarnation is a concept. So you don't have to come back and play this. You fail the first grade, you get retained, you got to do the first grade again. Try and learn all that you can learn from people in your lives, from research, experiences. Get out, do it to see if it works. And I don't want to give away my podcast for Wisdom Wednesday, but yeah, this is a classroom. We're learning. We're going to make mistakes, but we no challenge, no growth and development. So we learn from our mistakes. Nothing is a failure. Everything is a stepping stone. Nobody fails. Everybody gets A. Everybody gets an A plus.
See, boy, you about to open it back up, because that right there is part of that Jedi mind trick that has been played. People have been taught that they're constantly looking for the perfection, and they were given the example of Jesus Christ as the perfect one. And they, people are striving now. They know they can't. Well, they've been taught that they can't be him. I'm going to use the words intentionally. They've been taught that they can't be him, which of course you can't be Christ consciousness because his consciousness is taken. However,
Say that again about the Christ consciousness.
They can't be Christ consciousness because his consciousness is taken.
Now, my understanding, Christ is a title, like Jesus the Christ. Mm-hmm. Christ, and I think we might be saying the same thing. Christ is a consciousness.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying. That's
what okay. I was
saying. Mm-hmm. And I just threw a little humor with it because I'm like, his consciousness is already taken. But people you got to think, when they feed you, in sin did my mother conceive me. I was shaping in iniquity. And, the only way to God is through Jesus. When and everybody is sinners. Think of all this bashing that's taking place. Think of it. You know what I'm saying? Look at all the bashing that's taking place right now.
Now, when you look up the word sin, it means a person that doesn't know consciousness or God. That's what sin is.
Look it up. Look it up. So you ain't just taking her word from it.
So you can, when you see the word, we talked about this too. When you see the word sin in the Bible, get a concordance and see what the word means in that particular verse. Because one side, the Old Testament is one language, the New Testament is the Greek. So that word is not going to mean the same thing in every verse. So that's what I was doing when I was attending church. I was studying. What does that word mean? Sin. Because then I look it up in the concordance and see it meant one thing in this verse. Another word may allude to something else in another verse. That's all I'm saying. But sin is a person that doesn't know who they are, doesn't know, quote unquote, God. That's what all sin is.
And then when you wrap that up, the biggest sin of them all is not love. And when you're not loving, because God is love.
God is love. The sin equals not knowing God.
And not
love.
And y'all want to know what? Y'all know we like to give you information so you guys can do the research yourself. And Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, that's exactly what he said. He said there's no sin. The real sin is the lack of love. Not knowing that's pretty much the sin.
Yeah.
Now, and again, it goes deep as far as people and their living and their lifestyle and stuff like that. They're being taught everything they do is wrong, and this is when they're constantly, again, and they're beating themselves down, because at the end of the day, God is saying, I love you, but do you love yourself? And that goes back to the opening part of this conversation. People got to get to the place of, look, forgive yourself, know yourself, and love yourself. That really taps you into your true divinity. And then you really live life in the state that you really desire to attain. Because that's it. Everyone desires to live a good, wholesome, healthy life, not realizing a lot of their thinking and their thought patterns is what's holding them back from it. So when you get into the higher mindset, what's that saying? You know better, you do better. So
Maya Angelou.
Yeah, when you start knowing better, you do better. So this is good. I guess Miss Eunice could not get back on.
Nothing is coincidental, though.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. It was no coincidence. You was on my spirit for me to call you this morning and talk to you and then tell you about this.
And I told you I thought my phone was in the basement. And that phone was upstairs in my pocket, one of my, my jacket pocket. It was meant for me to talk to you this morning.
Wow. See how this works? I love it. I love it.
Everything works for our good. We don't have to fear or be afraid of anything. If you want good in your life, if you don't want to be sick, if you don't want to be poor, you won't be.
And if you want to be healed, if some ailments have entered into your body, you can be healed. You can be healthy. Start saying it. Believe
That's
it.
why they tell you, because it's frequency again, to look in the mirror and say, I love you. I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. Soon as you put that out in the quantum field, it's a magnet. That's what you draw to yourself. It's a magnet. And see, in the church, they want you to think, oh, this person has special powers because they can put their hands on you and you're healed. You have to believe that. That's why you're healed, because I've experienced that too.
Mm-hmm.
Being in a head-on car collision, they said I'd never walk again unless I had therapy every week. I went to a session with a dear friend who was an evangelist. She stood over me. She prayed for me. I believed in what she was doing, and the rest is history. I believed in what she said and was doing.
Listen, that's the power of your beliefs. What did the scripture say? All things are possible to them that believe.
I believe.
And that's the thing. You have to believe. And because what does the scripture say? Don't be like the double-minded man James talked about. Because like if you're not believing, then you really kind of doing yourself a disservice by asking, because you're not believing what you praying and asking for. So you got to put the faith in it. You got to put the belief. You leaned up. What you were getting ready to say, Abuela?
I don't know, but I know people that think prayer. To me, prayer is just communication with the God of the universe. I am not begging and asking for nothing. I'm saying this is what I want.
Period.
This is
Demanding.
what
Like,
this is what I'm putting out in the quantum field. This is what I want. That's prayer.
that's prayer. And that's it. Cause look, can of worms being open, because that's also another thing. People have been taught to pray from a begging standpoint, like they're begging God. And that's also another problem with the way that we've been programmed. And I will continuously say program, because it's a programming. You go as a desperate. You don't go to God in desperation. You don't do that. You go to God in knowing. You go to God like, okay, God, this is what I stand in. This is what I am searching and seeking, desiring, intending, whatever it is. And I'm believing. And you send it out there and you let God do the work. And you know what else I've learned? Don't tie yourself to the outcome. Because a lot of people put the resistance up when they think it's supposed to be addressed the way they think it should. Like, that's why, what does he say? My ways and your ways are not my thoughts. And he can exceed your expectations. So a lot of people may be, and who was it? Dr.
No,
Joe, but
no, 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 no. They do that in the church. My ways, your ways are not my ways. It doesn't work like that. When you put that request into the quantum field, you'll never be able to determine how it's going to work, how it's going to happen.
right.
That's not your job.
It's not your job, because you're detaching from the outcome and you're saying, okay, I trust the process. I trust the process, because that's what's important. You got to trust the process.
That's it. That's the end.
That's it. And so that
Before I get kicked off of here, I've already given my takeaway just in case.
okay.
But I had said I'm not getting kicked off this time.
I know, and you stay. You have it. You have it. So look, let me go ahead and bring it to an end. So, but yeah, this was good. This was a pop-up because I met, Eunice and I connected on LinkedIn, and I wanted to have this conversation. And again, look how it all played out. She wasn't even able to completely stay on, but Miss Sylvia was able to join us. And I just feel this whole conversation was divinely orchestrated. So I hope you guys took some powerful information away. And one of the reasons Miss Eunice was saying for me to put this together, because I need to start marketing me. So listen, I am a life coach, spiritual mentor. Go to my website, www.thassawoman.com. Now listen, that will take you to my coaching website. I won't give you the whole coaching website, but that takes you there. Book a consultation session. See if I'm someone that you want to work with one-on-one. My purpose is to help people gain clarity about their life, to move forward. Have these conversations to help you get clarity and to live in accordance to your highest good. That's what it is. And as you can see, I can be real and raw, and that's what you need. You don't need fluff. You don't need.
And you need to read her book.
Yes. Oh, Oh, yes, 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 yes. Actually, I have a copy of it here. Ah, yes, this is me. It had to happen. Release your past and step into your power. You can also obtain a copy of that on my website as well, because there's some very valuable information as well. I use my trauma to help with the transformation of my life and to help you with the transformation of yours. So, with much love and gratitude, Abuela, thank you so much. I mean, this has been I feel so full today. Like, again, we talked prior to this, talking now. I have had a day, y'all. I'm going to bask in this. It's 65 degrees in Atlanta. I'm going to take my shoes off. I'm going to go outside, stand barefoot on the earth, and allow that release of any energies that's inside. And so do this. Do yourself a favor. If you can, get out in nature, spend
Yeah.
time with your higher self, love on you. Love on you. That's so important. Love on you, love on others. As this conversation started, spread smiles, go anticipating you're going to see smiles, and just share it, because a change does start with us, and the world will change when we make the whole description like, you know what, I'm going to change the lens that I'm seeing it. I'm going to look at it from a how do we get the highest and best good out of our lives and others. So continue to be the light, be the change, and as always, stay blessed, stay amazing. Have yourself a most wonderful weekend. All right, you guys, until Wednesday for our men's talk at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Have an amazing day / weekend. Take care.